Welcome to Dump Truck Toolbox. I'm Alan, and today we're going to be talking about accounting for cash, profit, and wealth. Thank you for joining me on the channel today. It's always a pleasure to start a conversation with you. We're going to be talking dollars and cents today as we look at accounting in your hauling business. We're going to be talking cash, which we've been doing for a couple months now. And then we're also going to talk about profits and accumulating wealth with your business. Why does an owner-operator of a hauling business need to think about accounting? I'm going to give you 3 reasons and then a 4th one that may or may not apply to you. So 3 reasons, first of all. Number 1, short term, you need to track your cash. In the accounting world, the cash flow statement is what you're going to look at to manage your cash. It tracks your cash inflow and outflow over the course of a month or longer, though I would probably look at it monthly if I were running a hauling business. Reason number 2, you need to be ready for tax season. Collect information now on expenses, income, and profits. Then you'll be ready to fill out your tax forms on April 15th. The profit and loss statement is the key accounting report that you'll need to do your taxes. It is your revenue minus your expenses. It's important to note that your profit and loss statement is not identical to your cash flow statement. Cash is different than profits. So you'll have non-cash expenses like depreciation on your truck. Okay, no one's taking money out of your pocket as your truck gets older. It's worth a little bit less as an asset. And you can expense that depreciation. It reduces your taxes, but it's a non-cash expense. So profit, this income minus expenses, is what you pay your business income taxes on. 3rd reason to pay attention to accounting. You need to track your wealth accumulation in your hauling business. Are you building the value of your business? Can you afford to buy a second truck to replace your current ride? When you cash out of your business, when you finally get out of hauling, will you have the wealth that you want to either go on to your next venture or to retire comfortably? To answer these questions, you need to look at your balance sheet, the accounting statement that combines what you own with what you owe. That is your assets and your liabilities. So first of all, the value of your assets. Your biggest asset, if you're running a hauling business, is going to be the dump truck. And it's going to be the depreciated value of the dump truck. Your truck's losing value over time, and it's sort of like how much it would be worth if you decided to sell it to someone else. But the exact value of the depreciation is determined by the rules of accounting and the regulations of the Internal Revenue Service. So it's not exactly what you could sell it for, but it gives you a good idea. Your other assets include your business banking accounts and your accounts receivable from your hauling customers. So those are all things that you own. So the balance sheet also looks at what you owe. And for most hauling businesses, probably the big thing that you owe is your truck loan. And what you owe here for the balance sheet is not the amount of your monthly payment, It's the outstanding balance on the loan. You have other liabilities, your business credit card balance. Hopefully you pay that off every month, but whether you do or not, whatever it is on the day you compute your balance sheet, that is a liability. And then any unpaid bills that you have, insurance company or taxes or whatever, those are also liabilities. So you subtract them from your assets, and that's going to tell you the equity you have in your business. How much would your business be worth if you shut it down tomorrow? The fourth potential reason to engage in solid accounting practices is accounting can protect you against bookkeeping errors, either accidental ones like a math problem, or deliberate ones such as fraud from an employee or from someone else who's trying to take advantage of your business. This protection becomes more important as your business grows. Maybe you've added a truck, you've hired a driver, maybe you have a part-time person working for you in the office. Accounting can help protect you in those situations. So let's dip our toes into some accounting practices. I'm going to keep it brief, don't worry. So each transaction has to be entered into at least 2 different accounts in your accounting system. One account gets a credit, a different account gets a debit, and there might be multiple accounts getting debits and credits. The debits and credits must balance for each transaction, and the books must balance so that all of the reports match up, all of the numbers line up like they should. One way to think of it is it's like hauling stone. You have to take it out of the right pile. You have to take it to where it's supposed to go. You have to dump it into the right pile. And you don't want to spill any on the road or leave any in the bed of the truck. So that's sort of what accounting is. Are you confused yet? Let me tell you 3 stories. When I first started my management consulting business over 30 years ago, I said to myself, Alan, you are a professor of business. You can do your own accounting. Well, pride goes before a fall. About 2 years after I started the business, I had a complicated tax season. I spent weeks trying to figure out my taxes, and I couldn't do it. Ended up having to hire an accountant. He straightened everything out, paid my taxes. The IRS never came and put me in handcuffs. But it would have been a lot less hassle if I had hired an accountant when I started the business. And I probably would have saved enough on taxes to pay the accountant's fees. Second story, when I was teaching business at the College of William & Mary about 12 years ago, I created a business simulation, a general management game where the students and teams, bought and sold pretend stuff. And I encouraged them to do some basic accounting statements. And eventually I built spreadsheets and had instructions, and one person on every team was supposed to be doing these statements. Almost no one did the statements. And I was puzzled by this because they were competing with each other to run their businesses the best. So I asked one of my friends, who was the accounting professor who taught these same students, I said, what's up with this? He said, Alan, you have to understand, most of my students, when they get to the midterm exams, they still cannot balance the books on a simple pretend set of transactions. Accounting is hard, even for MBA students. Okay, my final story. Just a few years ago, right before I decided to get back into transportation, I restarted my management consulting business and decided to do accounting right. And so in the business, I bought industrial grade accounting software. I mean, really solid stuff. It was going to make sure everything balanced and everything was, couldn't be entered in the wrong way. My wife, who was my bookkeeper, took I think it was a week-long training class, and then she had an online coach to answer any questions, and she had me, the business professor, to help her. The business professor who failed as a bookkeeper 30 years ago. So no surprise, didn't go very well. And eventually we just shut down that whole software, went back to a very simple system of using spreadsheets. You see the pattern. I, the business professor, struggle with accounting. MBA students struggle with accounting. My wife and I, with industrial strength accounting software, struggle with accounting. Do-it-yourself accounting is hard. Here's my advice. If you can swing it financially when you start up your hauling business, go ahead and hire an accountant before you ever get going. If you're tight on cash, and I understand that, then don't hire an accountant right away. Keep very detailed records. Keep all your paper receipts, keep your hauling tickets, enter it all into either a spreadsheet or a paper journal that records every single transaction in and out. And then hire an accountant when you can afford it because your business is prospering, or when you hire your first employee, or when trying to do your taxes drives you crazy, like it did me. If you found today's video useful or interesting, please click the like button, subscribe, hit the notification button. Comments are always welcome, add those in. I'm Alan. Thank you for joining me on the channel today, and I hope to see you again soon on the Dump Truck Toolbox.